Earth is flat, stationary, and enclosed by a glass dome known as the firmament, which contains the sun, moon, and stars. These celestial bodies move, but the Earth does not. Above and below are waters. But this isn't some wild conspiracy. There are practical questions that support this idea. For example, if satellites were truly in space, then why would we need communication towers in the middle of the ocean? A compass only functions properly on a flat surface to differentiate between north, east, south, and west. But there's more. Water always stays level and contained, with the Arctic Circle and Antarctica acting as barriers that hold the oceans in. Therefore, it makes sense that the Earth is not a spinning ball. The solid glass dome or firmament keeps the air inside, creating a sealed, airtight environment. We're told the Earth spins at millions of miles per hour, but does it really feel like we're moving at such speeds? Thunderbooms, for instance, are produced when solid objects shift, which might suggest the firmament itself is at play. Even world leaders seem to know this truth. Therefore, why else would the United Nations use a flat Earth map on their logo? It's not the Earth that spins from west to east, but instead it's the sun, moon, and stars rotating from east to west. The people who taught us the globe model claim we're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour while orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles per hour. But if we're also spiraling through space at 500,000 miles per hour, how can Polaris, the North Star, remain perfectly aligned in the same spot for centuries? Take the Georgia Guidestones. A small hole drilled through one of the stones allowed anyone to see Polaris perfectly aligned. But if the Earth were moving in so many directions, how could the star stay in place? It should shift constantly, therefore, disproving the notion of Earth's constant motion. Now think about planes. The Earth supposedly spins eastward at 1,600 kilometers per hour at the equator. But how does a plane flying eastward at only 800 kilometers per hour ever reach its destination? Shouldn't the ground be moving too fast for the plane to catch up? Therefore, wouldn't this make landing even riskier? The official explanation claims Earth's atmosphere sticks to the planet, held by gravity despite the vacuum of space. But consider this. If Earth were a spinning ball, pilots would have to constantly adjust for the curve. At 800 kilometers per hour, a plane would need to lower its nose by 850 meters per minute to stay aligned with Earth's curvature. But they don't. Instead, pilots level off at cruising altitude and maintain a steady course. Therefore, no constant corrections for a curve, just a straight, level flight path. Doesn't that raise serious questions? If Earth were truly spinning and curving, we would see constant course adjustments in flight. But we don't. Therefore, maybe things aren't what we've been taught. What do you think?
For want of a nail. For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the rider was lost. For want of a rider, the message was lost. For want of a message, the battle was lost. For want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. And all for the want of a horseshoe nail. Every day I take part in the war against mainstream science, looking for the small cracks in the defenses, looking for the nail that could tie it all together. People sometimes ask me, what would it take to get me to renounce my belief in flat Earth? What proof could be given to me? I found my own answers frustrating because they seemed far out of reach. Most involved a mainstream space agency rocket with a 4K camera attached. Some even suggested getting NASA to take a flat Earth member into space. Bold, but unrealistic. I started revisiting older ideas, and it occurred to me that maybe I should be thinking smaller. I needed a test that could be done here on the ground, where just about anyone could participate, but still be tied to a space program. What I settled on was the astronaut suit. This is not to be confused with a G-force suit or G-suit. A G-suit, which fighter pilots use, is part of the plane. It's connected to various tubes and systems. The self-contained astronaut suit, objectively, is probably the most remarkable piece of engineering in the world. Let me explain. Consider what the astronaut suit, or spacesuit, does. It protects from extreme heat, extreme cold, maintains oxygen levels, humidity levels, has a communications array, and most importantly, has some sort of compression system that counters the massive vacuum force of space, accomplishing this through a high-end microprocessor, runs completely off battery power, and it has never failed. Now, even if you could believe the perfect performance record of the spacesuit in 2018, consider that it worked just as well in 1969 with almost no computer technology and far less efficient batteries. Now, this is where things get strange. This magical spacesuit, this miracle of modern technology, where do you think it's tested? If you ask anyone tied to NASA, they'll tell you it's tested in water. And yes, we see lots and lots of video examples of astronauts training in deep swimming pools next to exact replicas of the space station. And you say that's not strange at all. We just take it for granted that some of the testing is done in the pool because it simulates being weightless. This, of course, does nothing for the vacuum part because the water is trying to get into the suit. In space, it's the opposite. The air in your suit is trying to get out under immense stress. Now, one would think that eventually, to truly test the suit, you have to walk into a vacuum chamber here on Earth. And we do see a suit tested here, but no one is in it. And here, well, no. And this is a diary of an astronaut who says he was in a chamber once, but no video. Hey, wait a minute. Where are all the videos of astronauts in their miracle spacesuits having fun in the vacuum chamber? I mean, if I had to go to space, I would want an assurance that my suit, when exposed to the vacuum of space, wouldn't blow up like a balloon and burst. You're telling me that 50 years after it was invented, the only video we have is this? 1 minute long, tethered, suspended by a harness with no independent verification? You're not testing the suit because the suit doesn't work. It can't work. It's a phantom technology that you can only show on camera, like Star Trek or Buck Rogers. It doesn't work because there's no technology to keep a fabric suit safe against a vacuum. So you skipped the tests and just went straight to the space footage, and no one noticed. And if the suit is hollow, then all the missions that show the suit are hollow. And if the missions are hollow, then so are the astronauts and the entire agency, just because you didn't spend the time to fake a test for the public. See where the proverb comes into play? The suit is the nail, and NASA is the kingdom.